Hey everyone, welcome to this special series on Tangled bookmarks. Hello and welcome. I am Sanyukta Saxena. I am a certified Zentangle teacher. And next few videos we will be enjoying ourselves, thoroughly pamper ourselves and our creativity. We are going to be making some 10 bookmarks and you can choose to keep it with you or give them. They will mostly be different or from each other, and we shall also work both black and white and with a few colors maybe. So some of the things that you would like to keep handy, although we will be working with minimum of tools, but still let me mention that it would be nice if you keep these things prepared, right? So I have with me these paper cut into the size of 5 centimeter to by about 16 centimeters, so they are about the standard size of a bookmark. So I have 10 of them, and I also have these bookmark sleeves, right, that you can buy, or you can choose to. I would not advise laminating your bookmarks because the heat probably takes off the shading to a certain extent, but if you can buy these bookmark sleeves, fine, or else you can keep it the way it is, right? So some of the tools are the usual Zentangle tools, right? So micron pens and tortillons and blending stumps and pencil. And for color, you can choose whatever color you are comfortable with. So you can either use watercolor pencils, or you can keep the jelly rolls handy, colored jelly rolls, or if you have brush pens, then you can keep the brush pens handy, or you have identity pens or marker pens, whatever, right? So anything in color which you are comfortable with, which is readily available with you, you can keep it handy, because we will be using some bit of colors but not much. We'll be mostly tangling in black and white. So let's get started with the session right away, and I'm going to be drawing my first bookmark today, right? So you can follow along with me if you want during drawing. If you want to deviate, you want to introduce your things into it, please go ahead. Absolutely fine, right? So let's get started with today's session. So yeah, so today's tangle would be I'm going to start with a tangle called nice, right? And I'm going to arrange it in the fashion of shattuck, right? So I'm going to start with nice like this. I'm using my black pen. You can use any pen. If you wish to use the O1, please go ahead. So I'm first going to draw a grid like we do for shattuck, right? Again, come back almost 90 degrees like this, right? And add one more line like this. Again, go back almost at 90 degree, add one more curve, right? Again, add one more line like this, right? Again, go back, and this time we'll go up to the corner, add one more line like this, right? So this is the broad grid that I will be using. Now let's start tangling. So I'm going to be using the pattern nice. So I'm adding one thin aura here, right? And then I'm going to draw lines just the way we draw for the pattern nice, and create sections like this, right? So let me zoom in a little. Yeah. And now I'm going to add these triangle shapes, the V shapes inside each of these sections, right? Just the way we do for nice. And then I'm going to join these this point of the V to the center like this, right? And then I'm going to ink the alternate sections just the way we do for nice, right? So keeping it simple, going by the original pattern, just a revision. So these bookmarks will be also a nice revision to the patterns we have already learned. So if you're following along with me, then not only will you create beautiful bookmarks, but also we'll be revisiting quite a few patterns, right? So it will help you. So I'm going to be inking each of these sections. So go slow, take your time. So as you are already aware that I have been running this series on the Zentangle original pattern since quite some time. So I just thought this will be a nice refreshing break from the usual, just to break the monotony. Not monotony as such, because we learn a new tangle in every session and we draw tile. So it's pretty interesting. But this will be a new experience. Tangled bookmarks. So I'm going to be inking, right, the sections in the similar way, right? So one section we have inked the nice. The second section I'm going to add further auras and draw the pattern moon pie, right? So I have extended the auras till the end. I'm going to introduce my moon here. Right, and then you can add different tangles in each of these sections. So pick up tangles of your own choice. So I'm going to add different tangles. So starting with some orbs like these, right? Then moving on to the next, probably the pattern Duda. So you can draw tangles of your own choice. Right, so this is the tangled Duda. Then moving on to the next, so I'm going to add Knight's Bridge here. So I'm going to ink alternate sections. Right, so these are all different tangle patterns or tangles. Most of them we have already learned. So I'm mostly going to be using those which we have already learned and probably a few new ones. So take your time, go slow and ink these sections of the Knight's Bridge. Right, that's the third pattern. Again I'm going to add one more aura, and then you can introduce one more tangle, whatever you feel like. So I'm going to add these triangles, right, and then draw these seat kind of shapes inside each of these triangles. Right, and then add an orb inside each. Right, and then ink the leftover space, a simple fragment. right? So take your time and fill up these small little spaces that are left in between nicely, patiently. Right? So moving on to the next, again up to us, which tangles do you want to fill in? So let me add some squares here. So now that I'm going to add a cross inside each. Right? And then I'm going to add hybrid inside each with some inking at the end. So we know the pattern hybrid, and I will ink some part, draw hybrid inside each triangle, and then ink the rest. Right? Right? So that's one section. Again, the next one. Just the way you rotate your tile, don't forget to rotate your paper, the bookmark. Right? So I'll do the same. Just taking cue from the adjoining one. So take your time. This is a fragment that you can use very comfortably to fill triangles, squares. Again, the last one. Right? So now we move on to the last section. Right? So this one again I'll add an aura. And up to you, what do you want to add? Let's add onomato. Right? Like this. And then another orb here. Right? And then fill up these small little spaces left in between. Right? So spaces are small, so go slow. But fill them up because they add a lot of getup to the tangle. Right? Yeah, it's almost done. Right, so if you want, you can add one or two orbs more inside, small little tangulation, entirely up to you, or you want to just shade it, keep it empty, again option. Right, so that's the tangle pattern on a matto. So now the next section, I am going to add one aura here also. Yeah, again I am going to add the pattern nice. Right, so again I'll pick up my pen and draw lines from here till the end. Right, like this, and then again add those V shapes just the way we did in the previous one, and again join these tips to the beginning from where lines are coming out. Right, and again ink it in the same fashion. Right, so let me do that exercise and get back. So as you can see here, I have done the same exercise for all these three sections, that is drawn the pattern nice, and one section is left where I am going to be repeating the same thing. Right, so going to fill up my moon first. Right, and then we have 1 2 3 4 5 sections, so 5 lines. So I'm going to aura this at first. Actually I'm going to start from here. 1 2 3 4 and 5 sections, right, and then going to add an aura to each, just the way we did in the previous one. Right, and then I'm going to repeat exactly the same patterns, so starting with the orbs first. Right, the first one, then going on to my doodah, you can always add some rounding to your doodah, it looks nice, so I am talking about this. A little rounding at the ends adds to the look of the doodah, like this. Right, so I'll do the same exercise here also. Right, and the third one is again Knight's Bridge. So take your time. Fourth one is the triangle. Again adding these petal shapes inside each of the triangle, both sides, then adding an orb. Right, after that I've used that fragment inside the squares. Right, and then the onomato. Right, right, So I'll fill it up in exactly the same fashion, right? All of them. So I have one last section left here, and I'm going to add the pattern Shattuck here. Right, so going to ink the first one, then move on to the next one. Again auras till we reach the other end, right? Again add a moon or add the first aura. Again aura till we reach the other end, right? Again add a moon. So this aura is basically at 90 degrees to this one about, and then again you can add auras inside whichever way you feel like drawing. Again a moon, again some auras, again. So you can see here we have already revised a couple of patterns here, right? So just go slow and enjoy. Again the auras, again the moon, and the last one probably. Yeah, so we are done with our Shattuck also, right? So now the next thing that I'm going to do is add a little color. This is brush pen and this is the color, I think it is pink. So I'm going to add a little color here, right? So you can always use your watercolor or whatever color you like to add. This is quite bright, so if you don't like bright shades, please go with pastels. That's entirely up to you. Right, so I'm just going to do this for all. Slowly. Right, and then I'm going to be using one more brush pen. It is like I don't know, something like sea green or coral green, right? So some shade of green that I'm going to use in these bands. Right, so take your time, use color that you like. So I feel like using these colors right now, so I'm using it. You can choose colors of your own choice. Right, so I think the tip of this brush is not okay. Then it's fine. I think we can manage it. Right, so done with that, just a little dash of color, and then probably we will tangle over it. So give me 2 minutes for it to dry. So I think it's almost dried up, so I'm now going to tangle over it and draw my mukas. Or the pattern elegant, whatever you want to call it. Muka arranged in this fashion is also called as elegant. Right, simple pattern. You can add some orbs here and there. Add some ink here and there if you want. Adds to the look of the pattern. Right, so that's the pattern elegant or mocha, whatever you wish to call it. Going to fill in the small little spaces here and there. Right, so mocha is a very versatile pattern, can be used anywhere. You can see how easily have we made it a border tangle, right? So it's a very versatile pattern, can be used as a filler, can be used as a primary tangle in your tile, can be used as a border, whichever way you like, right? So I'll do the same for this one also. So we are finished with our drawing part. Let us now move on to shading, right? So here's my pencil and I'm now going to add graphite on the other side of my nice, right? So here, just the way we shade nice, right? Again here, right? And then on both sides of these rows that we have drawn, kind of moon pie, like this, right? So both sides, keeping the divider intact. Like this. Again the same thing on this one. Shading is simple here, not much complexity involved since we have used variety of tangles here. So the shading is thankfully simple. Yeah. Right. So let us now start to blend. So I'm going to first blend from here. So just don't blend too much, keep some area white. Right, so I'm blending, but I'm also ensuring that some part of my nice is also white, so that the high and low is clearly visible. Right. So you can already see how shading is adding that dimension. Let me zoom in a little. Sorry. Yeah. Right. So now we come to blending the two sides. So make sure the center is white and you don't blend too much, as is the rule for shading any border. We generally highlight the center. with our white chalk, right? So make sure that it remains white. Again the third row. Right, so you can see how shading is adding to the look of our bookmark, right? So I'll blend this also the same way. So I've added the shading, shaded both in the same fashion. Now comes the white chalk. So a highlight in the center for all with the white chalk, right? Although you have left white, but again whenever we draw our tangles in this fashion, it is always nice to add a highlight. Looks like a shine, right? Again some on the other side of the black, like this, so that they look like folds, right? Here not much, right? Again a little here, right? Now what we can also do is add few dots here with our jelly roll, just a small little embellishment, right? So I'm going to use my 08 because spaces are small, right? Just a touch, not much. Right, so I think we are done with our bookmark, and let us wait a little for the jelly roll to dry up. If you want, you can add little shading on the mocha, just the way we added on the other rows. Right, just a little. And blend it. Right, I'm not sure if chalk will work here, otherwise we can add some chalk also. So let me try, let me give it a shot with my smaller one. So if it works, then we can add a little. Yeah, just a touch. Yeah, so that's about it. I'm now going to close here. So put my chop somewhere here and put my name let us put it in our first bookmark sleeve that I have here, right? So I'm going to put it inside carefully. Right, so this is our first bookmark, right? So we'll be making 9 more, and I'll try to come out with different things in each of these bookmarks, right? So follow me and we shall have another session, right? See you then. Bye bye.